be report should have a clear level of layout. Layout should be sorry. Um, Sorry, just a second. Okay, layout has to be clear. Layout in the sense that the structuring of report has to be clear. Important information should be mentioned at the start of the report. Less important information should be mentioned at the end of the report. That's important. Information, whatever the report is, it should not be, there should be not too much information and there should not be too less information. If performance measurement report is extensive, extremely extensive, then we have a doubt that probably the company is trying to hide something. That's why the company has mentioned so many things in the report. So it has to be up to a reasonable length. There is no definition of reasonable length, but you can, by seeing the question, you can understand that whether it's too much excessive information is given in the report or it's okay. Okay. Then uh, it's important that layout must be such that users can understand it. There's one more point which I think I missed that. I mean, it's not here. Um, there's one more point where we say that operational information should not be present in any report which you are sending to a CEO. Like if you are mentioning details about the overtime, if you are mentioning details about the number of staff or something which is of operational nature and there is no need to measure, there it's an unnecessary information by the CEO. You're not supposed to report it, right? So layout has to be clear, narration should be clear. Narration in the sense that in case there is a difference in performance of this year compared with last year. Let's suppose that last year gross profit was 40%, this time gross profit was 32%. So there is a 8% reduction in GP. So ideally, your report should also have a narration in the sense you have to tell the reader that why 8% reduction in GPI happened, right? So you have to tell it, right? External information is extremely important. If you are writing any report, external information is important. You have to include whatever is going on in the industry and how you are measuring what is your performance. If your gross profit is 40%, you have to see how what is the gross profit of the industry. So if that's not given in the question, you have to highlight it that industry external information is not even in the question, right? Level of precision is also important. Like in some cases you will see that report, I mean there was a question, I don't remember exactly, where the report contains 1 2 9 3 5 6 7, this sort of information, this sort of numbers were given. So the idea was to include a level of precision like 12 million or something like that instead of using these numbers, right? So this is something which is in general which we need to understand, that whatever is in technical side, whatever is the objective of company, whatever the changes in the company, whatever is important for you to tell the stakeholder should be the part of your performance measurement report. That's basically the idea. Now, why this is important? Generally, if you see question number one of APM, generally question number one of APM comes with the evaluation of performance measurement report. I mean, 70 to 80% questions actually relate to performance evaluation, performance measurement of, evaluation of performance measurement report, right? So we are going to start with the first question of performance evaluation. This is a recent question which came in APM past paper. Okay. Uh, okay. So important here is what we are going to do is we are going to see how to answer these sort of question in which information we have to look at if we are answering such questions, right? So let's start with this. Let's see what we can do here. Have you read this question? Have you gone through this question? Okay, let's
Not
look at
not
this.
fully, not fully.
Okay, don't worry, don't worry. Um, Okay. Sharon Warm Drink is an unlisted company based in D-Land which produces and sell specialty tea and coffees. Right. There are two aspects of the business. The first one is production and the second one is retail. So company is producing and company is also selling. In the production part, now it's focusing on the first part, which is the production part. In the production part of the business, the tea and coffees are carefully sourced by a procurement team and are packed as either dried leaves or coffee beans in the company's resellable pouches. So company is purchasing, company is buying the beans and packing it, right? Um, these pouches, which have been through a 3-year development program, have been shown to retain the flavors for 50% longer than most commonly used form of packaging. So this is basically, probably this is the extra feature. Like we are claiming that this uh, this pouch will keep the flavor intact for 50% longer time. Important here is that, is this sort of facility or is this sort of service is required by the customer? I mean, if you ask customer for premium prices and you ask them that, hey, look, we are selling you coffee in a pouch which will keep your coffee for coffee flavors intact for the 50% longer time. The question is how important this is for the customer. That's something which we have to think. All right. We will discuss it later. In the retail part of the business, now they are focusing on the retail part. There is a chain of shops managed by the retail director, and these are located in the large shopping malls across the land. In the shops, there are displays of the packaged product for sale, and each shop has a small cafe area where customers can enjoy the company's products. Right, so they are selling these products in some sort of retail outlet. The company has a management team. The company has a management team and venture capitalists as a shareholders. The venture capitalists have provided additional capital needed to support the development of the company's pouches and also an expansion of its retail sites. Now, this is an important piece of information because you have received some money, you have received some additional capital for what? For share in pouches, probably this 3-year project, 3-year project, this one, right? So you got funds for pouches and an expansion of its retail site, right? So this is sort of a change. This is sort of a major change for the company. So technically, this type of information should also be present in the performance measurement report. Now, here comes an important part. Sharon's strategy is to maximize shareholder wealth. Now, let me try to highlight it with a different color. Your objective is to maximize shareholder wealth in the long term by growing the sales of its product, which are high quality and which can sell at premium prices. So, what is important here? Try to dissect it. You have to maximize shareholder wealth, right? Now, there are 2 to 3 things which generally examiner says. There are certain situations where the question says maximize shareholder profit. There are certain questions where examiner says maximize shareholder value. There are certain situations where the question says maximize shareholder wealth, right? Profit or return, right? Or let's write it here, to maximize shareholder return. Okay. So generally examiner write these 3 or 4 sort of things in the question that company wants to maximize shareholder, whatever the whatever they want, right? So if the question says the company wants to maximize return on or profit, generally we go for something which shows the profitability, like return on assets, return on equity, return on capital employed, something like this. Okay. If the question says that the company wants to maximize shareholder wealth, generally we go for the share price. Share price in the sense, because share price is something how company can, how shareholders wealth can be improved, right? Because company shareholder can sell its share and get the money. If they want you to maximize shareholder value, this is something which we do by using economic value added. I'm not sure if you have studied that, but that is in the syllabus, but in the later phases. So economic value added is something which we can also use, right? So in this case, what they want to do, they want to maximize shareholder wealth. So if they are talking about wealth, that means that we want to maximize share price of the company, share price or whatever they can have from the company. So mainly it's share price. In the long term, by growing the sales, you have to focus on sales growth. How you want to improve the wealth in the long term? By growing the sales of its product, and product should be which of high quality. So this means that the quality is important, and which it can sell at premium prices. So that means this is the first one objective, this is the second objective, this is the third objective, and premium pricing is the fourth objective, right? So these are four things which company wants to do. So all these four things should be present in your performance measurement report. The quality will be driven. Now they are focusing. Now this is something which we call, this is something which we call secondary objective. The quality will be driven. Quality is the main target, but they want to improve. Quality will be driven by innovation in both procurement and production methods. So they want to have some innovation in procurement and production methods, while the premium prices will be achieved by selling and marketing through retail chain. Right. So this is basically how they want to achieve their long-term objective. Right. So this paragraph is extremely important, and technically we will use this paragraph for the evaluation of performance measurement report. Right. Now we will move to the second part. Second heading. Given the smaller number and sorry, given the given the small number and close involvement, small number and close involvement of shareholder, its main method of reporting to them is an annual report, which is based on the report that the board uses for its performance review. So the board is preparing some report, and that is something which they are handing over to the shareholder so that they can understand what is happening in the company. Sharing report has recently been criticized. Now, this is important. Your report has been criticized by the venture capitalist, although the management is happy with the progress. So, management believes that the progress is fine, but probably venture capitalists are not happy. Management is happy with the progress of the business. The CEO of Sharon has spoken to the venture capitalist who indicated that they felt that the report was ineffective. So they believe that the report is not good, ineffective in achieving its principal purpose. Principal purpose is what? To communicate the performance to the shareholder. The CEO has asked you to provide. Now, this is an important thing, to provide an assessment of how well the report reflects the strategy of Sharon. Now, what is the strategy of Sharon? Strategy of Sharon is this one: how the company will perform, right? This is the strategy. This part is the strategy, the long-term objective. So the long-term objective is actually the strategy. So you have to identify whether report, sorry, I think uh, sorry. Okay. Okay. So you have to go for an assessment whether the report, how well the report reflects the strategy of Sharon. She has given you the most recent report in appendix number 1, right? So let's move to appendix number 1, right? This is appendix number 1, and this is the report, right? Now you have to analyze this report, that how well it meets with the objective of the company. But before doing that, let's try to see what is given in the report, right? That's important. So this is a report which we are handing over to the shareholder of company, right? Um, Budget is given, actual variance. So budget of 2025, right? Actual of 2025, variance of 25, and actual of 24. So actual of 24 is representing last year. Budget is representing the expectation of this year. Actual is basically this year, current year. Variance is the difference between budget and actual. And growth is basically the difference between 2004 and 2005, current year and previous year, right? So this is representing the growth. Actual and budget is representing the variance. Right? Actual and budget is representing the variance, right? And profit as a percentage of revenue, that is given, industry average is given. So industry average is given. So reasonable comparison is given in this question, right? Now, what is here? Sharing products revenue are given. Okay, one thing try to understand, you don't have to analyze the performance. You are not supposed to calculate how company performed. You are supposed to identify whether the performance indicators which are given in the question are enough or not, are good representative of what is expected from the company or not. Okay. Okay. Now, share in product performance is given, other cafe sales are given, total is given, then cost of sales are given, gross profit is given, right? And other matrices are given. In other matrices, return. Okay. Net profit is not given. Gross profit is staff cost, other operating cost, operating profit. Yes, operating profit is given here. Finance cost. Okay. Other matrices include return on capital employed, dividends paid, and save the planet electricity cost in the shops, staff absenteeism, and that's it. Okay. So these are few things which are given in the question. Now let me try to update it because just a second. Okay. Okay. So what is the requirement of how many objectives were required? I just tried to copy and paste it. I don't know why it didn't happen. Oh yeah. Okay. So what are the objectives? Let's try to copy and paste the objectives, which I am unable to do. What was the first objective? The first objective was to maximize shareholder wealth in the long term by growing the sales, right? So the first one is maximization of shareholder wealth. The second one is sales growth, right? What is the next one? I actually copied it. I don't know why it's not mentioning it here. High quality product at selling at premium prices. Oh, here it is. Okay. So what is the objective? Objective is to maximize shareholder wealth in the long term by growing the sales of its product, which are high quality and which it sell at premium prices, right? So let's forget about this shareholder wealth. We will discuss it later. Sales growth. First of all, we need to identify whether sales growth is given in the question or not. Okay. Can you see sales growth in the question? Can you identify whether sales growth is given in the question or not?
Yeah, it's there. The
Okay, but
the revenue.
okay, but before that, I forgot to do one more thing. Mm, okay, we forgot to do this marks distribution. This is for 10 marks, right? If this is for 10 marks, technically we have to identify, if it's for 10 marks, technically we have to identify 5 points from this question, from this part, right? 5 points means what? 5 points means one will be the analysis of sales growth, right? Second will be the analysis of high quality, whether that is given here. Third is the share price. Fourth, I mean, premium price. Fourth is this procurement and production method, right? Fifth is probably any indication of marketing if that is required. And the fifth one is this one. This is something which we will see if we can identify. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points we have identified which we have to analyze from this report. Okay. So now, so the first point, yes, you are right. Sales growth is given in this question, right? Sales growth is given in the question, so you are right. Is measured by using year-on-year basis, right? Do
But
you think
but
it's enough?
one thing, a question, please.
What do you mean by question?
No, I mean I want to ask a question. Can you comment on the fact that the absence of the industry average would not really help us know whether the growth, that's the 3.9 growth, or the total 3.9 growth is not really in tandem with the industry growth? I don't know if you can keep in that. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. There's an important point that you are, the company is, you're right. The company is measuring its sales growth on an year-on-year basis, right? But the company is not measuring whether this 3.9 is enough or not. Enough in the sense, like in case of market, there are two options. First option is that we can use market share, right? Market share will tell us that whether the growth of the company was in line with the industry average, with the industry growth, right? The second one is, if you say that, okay, fine, industry growth is 2%, in that case, we are good. If the question says that industry growth is 10%, in that case, we are far behind the industry average. So you are perfectly right. So how can we write it? We can write it that, look, the company is measuring sales growth on the basis of year-on-year increase in sales. However, it does not capture whether the company is moving in line with the industry average. And for that, it's extremely important for the company to mention industry average, right? So this is the complete answer. So in this case, we can write like, however, first of all, we have to write the reason why we think that there is a problem. However, since this will not capture the fact whether the company is moving in line with the industry average or not, therefore industry average is should be mentioned in the report. Should be mentioned in the report. Either you can write it like this, or you can mention market share, because market share will give you will serve the same thing, right? So if you are writing this, you will easily get 2 marks. 2 marks in the sense, 1 mark is how the company is currently measuring it, and 1 mark for the identification of this point that, hey, look, this is not enough. You have to do something else. Are you getting my point?
Yes, thanks.
Okay. Okay. I hope, Ellen, you are with us. Okay. The second one is high quality. High quality product, right? This is the second objective of company. So in this part, quality is not given. In this part, quality is not given because staff cost, operating cost, nothing includes quality. Other matrices says ROCE, dividend paid, save the planet, staff absenteeism, anything related to quality.
No.
This means that the company is not measuring mm, what the company was selling, tea and coffee now. Okay. So if you want to mention, you can mention that, okay, fine, the company can use some KPIs, like company can use customer feedback, or company can use company can use, like the company is using sales growth. So we can say that, okay, fine, sales growth can be an indicator, can be used in an indicator of quality, but this is not a direct measure, right? This is not a direct measure, because if your sales are improving, then definitely it means that the quality is good, but that is not the prime indicator, the true indicator, right? Okay. Then it says which it sells at premium prices, right? At premium prices. From this information, like revenue is given, cost of sales is given. I don't know why my voice is echoing. Gross profit is giving. Such all things are given, but can we identify whether the company is selling the product at premium prices?
No. No.
No, because this variance actually represents a combination of volume and price both. It's not just volume, it's volume and price both, right? So premium prices, premium prices, I mean, KPI related to premium prices is also not measured by company, right? Company, not company, Sharon, whatever the name of the company is. And how can company measure this? The company can measure by using, average comparison of average price with the average price of industry. Only then you can identify that whether you are selling at high prices or not. So this is also not given in the question, right? Okay. The quality will be
Sorry,
driven by innovation in both procure.
sorry. Please, can I ask a question?
Yes, sure.
Uh, if we look at the growth of the gross profit, um, could it not also be an indicator that maybe some prices could be inflated if the growth is excessive?
Um, See, gross profit can be because of two reasons. The first reason is improvement in revenue, and the second one can be reduction in cost, right?
Mhm.
So, if you see the cost, mm, What is the difference in cost? 2005, this one and this one. So there is a reduction basically, right? And no, 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 not reduction.
Look, there's a growth. Yeah, because if you
Growth.
compare
There is a,
choice,
yeah, there is an
yeah,
increase. And that means, so cost is increasing, right? And
yes.
sales margins are also increasing. So it's difficult to identify whether the company is selling at premium prices.
Oh,
See, uh, I mean, you need more information to actually interpret. And to be very honest, if you are presenting this report to a CEO does not have the patience, or the shareholder doesn't have that patience to, calculate it on their own basis. They will ask you for the information that you have to tell me, right? Are you getting my
yes,
point?
yes.
Okay, okay. But your point was good. Anyways, innovation in both procurement and production method, while innovation in both procurement and production method, right? So let's try to understand what was the procurement and production method. Let's try to see. In the production part of the business, the tea and coffee are carefully sourced by a procurement team and are packed as either dried tea leaves or coffee beans in Sharon patent reasonable resellable pouches. The pouches, which have been through 3 years development program, have been shown to retain flavors for 50% longer than most commonly used form of packing. So this is kind of innovation, right? So because this is the only thing which they have mentioned in the procurement, in the procurement and production part. So we can say that okay, fine. Uh, the new pouches are an innovative product, not product, what you can say, innovative packing by company, right? Which is expected to improve the life of coffee by 50% more time, right? But again, can we see whether this pouch is a good initiative by the company? Like customers were overwhelmed by this new pouch? Nothing is given here, not a single statement, right? So the performance, or you can say feedback of customer regarding the new pouch is not measured in the report. So the report does not contain a lot of important piece of information which are important for your long-term objective, right? And the one last thing is the maximization of shareholder wealth. Right? This is an important piece of information, maximization of shareholder wealth, right? Now, shareholder, what they are measuring return on capital employed, right? And that's it. So return on capital employed is an accounting measure, right? And it is just, this actually shows return of shareholder. It does not show the shareholder wealth. That can be measured by share price. They are they are giving dividend. This can be used as shareholder wealth, that we are giving some profit, if we are returning profits to the customer. But dividend paid is not a full representative of shareholder wealth. For that, share price is extremely important, right? So what was the problem which they have identified? The CEO, the venture capitalist, although the management is happy with the progress of the business, um, yeah, Sharon report has recently been criticized by the venture capitalists So, and indicated that they felt the report was ineffective in achieving principal purpose. Principal purpose is to communicate the details of company to the shareholder. So, if you want to conclude anything, what can be the conclusion? The conclusion can be that this information or this performance measurement report is not fully communicating major issues of company to the shareholder because of so many things which are not given in the question, not measured in the question. Now, if you want to add one or two points more, how can you further add to make sure that, are you saying something? Prince, are you saying something?
No, no, sorry, no.
Okay. Okay. So if you want to add some, if you want to balance your answer, because we were so critical in this whole scenario, what we can say that, okay, fine. The good part is that the company is measuring its performance in so many dimensions, like actual with last year, actual with the budget, actual with the industry average. The problem is that the industry average figures are not given in the question. That is the problem. Only few figures like what is this? Operating profit percentage and return on capital employed. There are just two figures available, which is not enough. You have to mention all major um, figures, right? The second thing, if you try to manage the financial and non-financial part, I mean, these are some extra points which you want to mention if you want to mention with respect to the presentation part. So non-financial performance indicators are given, some sort of non-financial or other than balance sheet item. There are few things like electricity, Save the Planet initiative that the company is measuring. So this is good thing, right? Staff absenteeism is given here. Now try to understand, do you think staff absenteeism is something that should be communicated to the CEO or to the shareholder? Is this a strategic information?
No, it's more operational.
So technically, we can criticize this part also, that this is something which represents the operational detail. Therefore, this part, instead of measuring or mentioning this is staff absenteeism, probably you can highlight some other information which are more important for the shareholder. So that's basically how you can cover up your 10 marks. 10 marks means we have identified 5 points and we have identified whether they are present in the report or not. And in case we are doubtful that probably we will miss one or 2 points, so we just try to highlight few other points like external information is not given here, something like that. Okay, if you go to the suggested answer, now this is important. I will come back to this format later. So the performance measurement is, I will share this performance report with you. This part, if you want to, this part is important and generally students miss this part. When we start the report, we generally copy and paste, not exactly copy paste, but we try to tell the reader that what are the major objectives of the company. And this is something which we generally get from the question, right? Because when you are starting reading the report, you should know what are the major objectives. So students sometimes miss this. The student sometimes says that, hey, this is the part of the question. Yes, this is the part of the question, but you are writing a report, you have to tell the reader that what are the main objectives of company, right? So although this is a copy paste thing, you have to do this, right? Then we start with the sales revenue part, that sales revenue has been measured. But however, this however is important because now we are trying to balance that something is given, but it's not capturing the true picture. So industry growth is actually something which is missing, industry growth or market share, right? Similarly, product quality is not addressed in this report, right? This is something which we highlighted. Then we highlighted each and every point in one specific paragraph. This is the wealth of shareholder, and this is some extra point which if you want to measure, you can. So in this way, you can easily get 10 marks from performance measurement evaluation, right? Anything would you like to ask? Okay. Um, Shall we take a? I think we can do one more thing. I'm just skipping its second requirement because second requirement is uh I'm not sure. Okay, let's move to the second requirement. And I just want to do the marking scheme of second requirement. We will not do this question, this part, but we will probably do the marking scheme of this part. Or shall we skip this part and move to the third part? Because third part is actually related to the standard deviation sort of thing.
Okay, then we can skip and
I think,
relate, move there.
yeah, it's okay with me as well.
Okay. This is, I think, something which is a tricky part. I mean, this sort of requirement is something that came first time in APM, and if you, whenever you ask for the overall review that how was the paper, I mean, this is sort of requirement which can be difficult for a student. This can be a tricky part for a student because first part was easy. If you read the second part, that is also easy. It's of, I think, 10 or 11 marks. I am not remember. I don't remember exactly, but the requirement was not difficult. This is a requirement which, in my opinion, is a bit tricky one, right? So let's see what is the requirement. Requirement is simple: brand survey, and that is for 16 marks. 16 marks. Whenever students see 16 marks, they generally think that I mean, you have to write too many things. No, you don't have to. Sorry, let's see what we have to do in brand survey. Sharon Board has commissioned a survey relating to the brand as the venture capitalists believe. As the venture capital believe that this is a key to growing the profitability of Sharon. The survey was completed by a consultant from an industry-leading marketing business. The CEO considered the source to be reliable, so you don't have to worry about whether the report is correct or not. An extract of the relevant details are given in appendix number 2. The CEO is puzzled by the number of elements of the report and has asked you to answer a number of detailed questions that she has bought it. Okay. So now the question is actually trying to ask a lot of different things from you. So try to understand these requirements very carefully because this part is of 16 marks, right? Explain. First requirement, explanation. How brand awareness and loyalty interacts to benefit sharing. So what you have to tell? You have to tell that how brand awareness and brand loyalty interact to benefit sharing. So first of all, you should know what is brand awareness. And the second thing, you should know what is brand loyalty, right? There are two things, and then their interaction to benefit sharing, how they are going to interact, right? She would also, so that means this part is done. Now there is another task. She would also like you to illustrate your answer by using the data to produce a revenue forecast. Firstly, assuming that the brand has no impact on, sorry, firstly, assuming that the brand has no impact, and secondly, assuming that brand will have an impact. So what you have to do in the second part, you have to probably illustrate your answer by using a revenue forecast. Firstly, by assuming that the brand has no impact, and secondly, by assuming that the brand will have an impact. So probably you have to do, first of all, you have to explain brand awareness, you have to explain brand loyalty, you have to explain their interaction. Then you have to calculate the revenue, forecasted revenue, forecasted revenue when there is no impact, forecasted revenue when brand is having an impact, right? So there are almost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 5 or 6, 8 things which we have to do in the first part. Second, explain. Again, there is an explanation. What standard deviation? I think you guys have, I hope you guys have watched that video which I've shared.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
Explain what a standard deviation means. Now, this is extremely unexpected because standard deviation is something which generally is asked at the initial level. That what do you mean by standard deviation? Now, examiner is asked. So, you don't have to worry about the pure definition of a standard deviation. You just have to tell the examiner in your own wordings that what do you standard deviation means. Standard weight deviation means the deviation from the mean, like how much your data is deviating. Standard deviation means in the context. Now, this is important. In the context of this report, and so that means we are done with this. In the context of this report, that if the standard deviation is something like this, what do you mean by this? And assessment of it's important to the result. So again, you have to 4A, 4B, 5 is the explanation, and probably 6. So there are approximately 6 things which you have. And this is basically something where students generally miss one or two requirements because they forgot to do it, right? So let's try to see appendix number 2. This is appendix number 2, right? So extract of consultant report on survey result on Sharon brand, Sharon market. The market for Sharon product in D-land is 225 million. Now, tell me one thing, this 225 million is for, this is the demand for Sharon, or this is the demand for the whole D-land?
No, the whole D-land.
Yes. Okay. There are 5 competing brands in this market with about equal market shares, and brand is differentiated in consumer purchasing decision. So if the brand is the only thing which may create a difference. Brand awareness, aware of Sharon product, mean score is 2.9 with a standard deviation of 1.7. Now, now this is the point where you have to tell the CEO that 1.7 standard deviation actually means what with respect to this report. Okay. A percentage of samples surveyed who indicated that at least a basic awareness of the Sharon product is 64%. Like if we have interviewed 100%, 100 people, out of it 64% people are aware of Sharon product brand, right? That means 36% doesn't have any idea what this product is, right? Method of measurement, the awareness level is measured on the scale of 1 to 5, where 1 being unaware and 5 being immediately recognizable. A scale of 2 shows a basic awareness of the Sharon brand. So on average, the mean score is 2.9. That means on average people know this product. Okay. Comment on the result. Sharon has a okay, fine. Let's suppose 2.9 is the mean, right? On average, 2.9% or out of overall 64. If we consider the whole assessment, the mean score of awareness is 2.9. What do you mean by this 1.7 then? Can you connect these two?
Yes, so basically how dispersed they are from the 2.9. So the
On
variation.
average awareness is 2.9. Out of 5, average awareness is 2.9 because they are saying that 2 shows a basic awareness. So we can be reasonably sure that on average, uh, people know this product.
Yeah.
Plus or minus 1.7 standard deviation. Like it can be 2.9 is the middle. If you add 1.7, I don't know what you will get. If you deduct 1.7, you will get something. So this is the lowest score and this is the highest score. So that is showing you the variation. If the variation is, let's suppose 0.2, if the variation is 0.2, In that case, situation will be different, because in that case, maximum will be 3.1 and the minimum will be 2.7. So the range is quite close, to closer to 2.9. In this case, there is a huge variation. Like, some people know this product extremely well, and then there are a lot of people who don't know this product at all. Like, the variation is quite high. That's basically what this data is actually showing. I hope you guys got this. Okay,
Yes.
so brand loyalty. Okay, Sharon has a high basic recognition of its brand with large spread of results. So this is basically what they are actually trying to comment, basically this part. Okay, brand loyalty broken into three categories. If this is did not, sorry, did not care about the company's purchasing decision, right? Sharing in purchasing this, sorry. Um, the first category is there are few people who do not care about Sharon brand in purchasing decision. They will go, they will buy the product. They don't care which product, which brand this belong. This is comprised of 25% of the sample, and they were found to be 20% likely to choose Sharon from among the five brands available in the D-Land. Then the second category is Sharon brand being a minor positive factor in purchasing the decision. There are comprise 50% of the sample, as they were found to be 50% likely to choose Sharon from among the five brands available in the D-Land. And then there is a last category, which is a major positive, where Sharon is the major product, major reason behind purchasing, comprised 25% of the sample, and they were found to be 80% likely to choose Sharon from the five brands available in the D-Land, right? Methods of measurement: a survey is taken of participants who have previously purchased the product and who scored Sharon at least 2 in the brand awareness test, showing a basic awareness of the brand. These participants are the sample. So there is a comment: the Sharon brand clearly commands a stronger loyalty compared with the other brands in the market. The survey used industry standard technique to ensure that all results are accurate and have large enough samples to consider reliable. So that's the end of the discussion. Not discussion, I mean end of this report. Now let's try to reread this part. Um, Explain brand awareness and loyalty and interaction to benefit the customer, to Sharon, right? Considering this, just take 2 minutes to and to recall or try to construct your answer, that what is the brand awareness and brand loyalty and how these two can be interacted. Meanwhile, I'm just trying to copy and paste the requirement from that slide to the slide. So just 2 minutes. Okay. Can you tell me what is brand awareness? Can we explain what is brand awareness? In general terms, there's nothing technical in here.
I think it relates to how consumers are are aware or have knowledge of what is being sold.
Yes, perfect. See, brand awareness means that customer knows about the product. Like we all know about ChatGPT, we all know about Google Gemini, but probably there are other AI softwares which majority doesn't know, right? So brand awareness will tell you that how whether the people know what the company is selling, what is this company, what this company is selling, about these products, right? Perfect. So I think this is for this definition can be of okay, fine, let's because there are so many requirements and there's nothing about I mean 16 marks breakup is not here. So let's say that there are 8 marks as a rough idea, right? And then you have to do 1, 2, 3. So let's suppose that these three requirements are for 3 marks, 1 mark per requirement, right? And then you have to calculate the revenue because there are calculations as well. So we can say that 4 marks are probably for this thing and 4 marks are probably for the calculation. In the calculation, there will be 2 plus 2, or maybe this can be 1 plus 3, right? Because 1 is easier compared with the second one. Here, I can say 1 mark for brand awareness, 1 mark for brand loyalty, and 2 marks for the interaction because interaction is a little difficult to understand, right? So if you are explaining with respect to 1 mark, it's good. Okay. Brand loyalty.
So the preference to a specific or a particular brand.
So we can say that in instead of saying particular brand, okay, you can write this, but as given in this question, that there are some customers who are preferring sharing product over other brands. So that will complete your answer. That will relate to
Okay.
the scenario. Okay,
Okay.
perfect. And what is the interaction? Interaction means what? Interaction means, how can I explain this? If if there are, okay, fine, tell me like this. If there is less brand awareness, do you think brand loyalty will be high? Or if there is more brand awareness, the loyalty will be high? That's basically the connection between these two. I mean, like for example, if I'm talking about revenue and price and volume. So what is the interaction? Interaction is that if you increase the selling price, sales volume generally reduces, right? Similarly, this thing, if you increase the brand awareness, what are the chances for the loyalty?
I think they have a positive correlation.
Yes, there is a I was not sure whether you guys understand the term correlation or not. But
Yeah.
yes, correlation means that if you increase the brand awareness, there are high chances that loyalty will increase because loyalty comes when there is a brand awareness. If you are unaware of the brand, there will be no loyalty, right? So increasing the brand awareness will increase the brand will help you to increase the brand loyalty. That's the interactive part, right? So we are done with this part. We are done with this part. We are done with this part. Okay. Now, what's next? Revenue forecast. Now, I think this is something from where the difficulty will start, right? And since they are saying illustrate your answer by using the data to produce a revenue forecast, so now we are trying to communicate that if there is no loyalty, what will happen, and if there is a loyalty, what will happen, right? Um, so the question says that first you have to assume that the brand has no impact. And secondly, you have to assume that brand will have an impact, right? There are two things. If the brand has no impact, what will happen? How many how many companies are there? How many companies are there?
Five. Five.
Five companies. So if brand doesn't make any sense, right? And the question says that um, both have approximately equal market share. So let's suppose that brand doesn't change their decision. So what will be the revenue in that case?
I
So
think there'll
for
be an
each
equal
customer, it will be an
distribution.
average. Yes, sir.
Yeah, there'll be an equal distribution in revenue
Okay, so
amongst the
225
companies.
million, yes, divided by 5, that will be the sales revenue. You can write it like this, like for example, in the first case, since the customers are not affected by the brands, therefore there will be equal distribution as per the question. The second one, now the problem is with the second part. In the second part, they are saying that okay, fine, there is a problem, something related with awareness and loyalty, right? So the question says that overall the market is for 225 million, right? 225 million is the overall market, out of which 64% are the one who have at least a basic level knowledge of company's product. And then there is a overall breakup that if they have a knowledge, whether they will get affected by the brand or not, right? So the first one, 64% is representing the awareness, and then this part is actually representing the loyalty, right? So can you take 2 minutes and try to come up with a revenue figure, or maybe some uh, calculations, or maybe just an idea how to calculate sales revenue considering the 64% and these three lines. Just take 2 minutes and then we can discuss it. And then we'll do the last part and finish this session. Okay, tell me one thing. 225 million. Do you think we will apply the 64% or not?
Yes, we will. If especially
Because if
if you want to know the percentage of customers in relation to their loyalty to a brand.
Yes, because if the customer is not aware, is unaware of the product, he will not get affected by the loyalty. Loyalty doesn't make any sense, right? So this means that this figure will tell you how much revenue the company can generate from the awareness part, right? But the problem is that there is not sure assurance is not there that if the customers are aware, they will buy the product. There are 25% people, 25% of the sample, like 25% means uh this 25% of this figure, right? 25% of the people were found to be 20% likely to choose Sharon among five. So 25% times 0.2, right? I mean, I don't know what is this figure, 225 times 64%, whatever the figure is, I have to multiply by 25% to get this part, and then 20% likely to buy Sharon product. Then the same will be the second bracket is for 50% people are aware with good terms, and there are chances that 50% likely chances that they will buy the product. And the third set is like 25% people who are 80% chances that that they will prefer the customer's product. So that's basically the effect of this. Is basically what do you mean by illustrate your answer by using the data to produce a forecast revenue. Firstly, by assuming that there is no impact, and secondly, assuming that brand will have an impact. So brand will have an impact means that this will be the expected revenue. Now do the calculation at home, but this is basically how we can calculate. So since the problem is there, when I gave this question in the mock exam, students didn't apply the 64%. There were few students who didn't apply the 64%. So 64%, if you are not applying, that means you are assuming that everyone in in the region is aware of the brand, which is obviously not the case. Perfect. So that means we
Okay,
are done with the
sorry,
first part. So
sorry, Zaya. Please, can I ask?
what?
I was of yes, I was of the opinion that since 64% are loyal, that's a given standard. So the 36% is what will apportion to anyone who falls with outside the 64%.
Okay. Now let me answer this. See, they are saying that brand awareness is 64%. Um, Percentage of sample surveyed who indicated at least a basic awareness of the company is 64%. This means that the remaining 36% are unaware of company's product. So if someone is unaware about company's product, uh, generally we say that they are not under the scope that they are a potential customer because they don't know about the company's product. So probably first you have to increase the marketing to those 36%, and then there are chances that when they know your product, then they will get biased or unbiased. I mean biased in the sense, then they will, uh, maybe there are chances that they will buy the product. So that's why we are ignoring 36%. This is
Okay,
not loyalty, this is awareness. Loyalty is starting from here.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
Now the second one is explain what a standard deviation means in the context of this report. So this is an explanation part that, for example, we are saying that on average, standard deviation means the deviation, the dispersion from, it shows a dispersion from mean to both ends, like positive side and the negative side. Higher standard deviation means that the data is more, what you can say, there's more discrepancy in the data, there's more variety in the data. If the standard deviation is low, that means your data is compact, like 48 to 60, 52 set, and maybe 30 to 60 set. So the variation is quite high here. So standard deviation of this set will be higher compared with this set. So that's basically what do we mean by the standard deviation. You just need to write it in your own words. In the context of this report, so you have to use these numbers while explaining your answers, like plus 1.7, minus 1.7. That's basically what you have to take. And assessment, it's important to the results. So if you try to make a break, I mean marking scheme. So marking scheme can be 2 marks for the standard deviation definition, right? And then there are 6 marks left. 6 marks for the importance of this in the result, right? Results are actually related to, like, for example, whatever we got, how you will explain the importance. This is a tricky part, this one, importance. So what do you mean by importance in this case, right? That's basically the area where I think a student can feel difficult that what exactly examiner is asking us to write. That's something which is, um, I mean, here I think students may, fell short of ideas at what they have to write. So in my opinion, mm, See, what are the results in this whole case? What are the results? First, try to understand that. Um, the first result is the awareness, right? Market awareness. The second one is loyalty. Like this is something which is given in the report that look, this is the outcome of the report. Method of measurement is not the outcome. This is not the result. This is just they have told you that look, we measured this report on such basis. So this is something which is not something related to this requirement. This is not something which is related to this requirement. So what is the result in this case? There are two results. The first result is, let me try to change the color. It's a very bad color. This is the first result, and this is the second result. So brand awareness 64% and brand loyalty with with these outcomes, right? If the brand awareness is saying, oh, if the brand awareness is saying that it's 64%, and the question is saying that it's 2.9% with the standard deviation of 1.7, and this is the outcome that look, this is basically the thing. How a standard deviation is important in this regard? That's basically the question. How a standard deviation is important with this result? Because that's basically the standard deviation is. I'm just giving you 2 minutes, 1 or 2 minutes to just think, because out of the whole question, this is the point where students can get stuck. If you are unaware of any brand, what you will do? Like, for example, there is a new product in the market and you know that Samsung, Apple, and other mobile companies are actually, dominating the market. And then there is a new Chinese phone which they want to capture the market. What they will do?
They'll do some promotions.
Promotions, right? So brand awareness has a direct connection with promotions, because if brand awareness is high, you don't need a lot of promotions. If brand aware, like ChatGPT doesn't need any promotion now, right? So if you are saying that the standard deviation of awareness is, sorry, if you are saying that standard deviation of this awareness is 1.7, that means this will impact your marketing techniques, because 2.9 means that 2.9 is the basic awareness. If you add 1.7, it will be, I think, 4.6, and then minus 1.7 is 1.2. So variation is from 1.2 to 4.6. So few people are extremely aware of the product, and then there is a variety of customers who are unaware of the product, from the product, right? So you have to tackle with all with a different manner. Like this customer, 4.6 customer, doesn't need any marketing. So in that case, you need to identify that how many people are there, what sort of survey, what in which geographical region maybe, or maybe the geographical, or you can say age bracket or something, where people have identified that they are less aware or unaware about the product, right? So the marketing strategy, how this is important, marketing strategy will vary. Marketing strategy will vary for brand awareness, because brand awareness actually, I mean, for brand awareness, we do the marketing. So if there is a standard deviation of, if there is a high standard deviation, this means that we cannot have a same marketing techniques for everyone. We have to customize marketing techniques for different customers probably, right? Similarly, the second one is brand loyalty. If you see the brand loyalty, and if the deviation is high, because brand loyalty, there is no sort of deviation given in the brand loyalty. Deviation in the sense that there are few people who are more likely to buy the product. There are few people who are less likely to buy the product, and there are people who are, indifferent of buying the product. So if again the variation is quite high, you have to work more in this case, like who are already aware. Loyalty in the sense that you have to, these are your current product customer, probably these are your existing customers, so you have to improve your product. In this case, you have to uh, come up with, more connection with those customers. That's important in this case, and these customers are actually your customers. You don't have to worry about this third category, because the third category is the most loyal category. So here you don't need to have to put a lot of effort to make them loyal. Maybe you, in order to make them loyal, you can have some loyalty points or something related to that sort of things, right? So if there is high deviation, in case of high deviation, uh, brand loyalty needs different customized steps, or I'm not getting the correct word, maybe steps or something like that, to address the issues of customer, like who is extremely loyal to you. You don't have to do anything. And so these are two things which are important. And the last one can be um, overall measure of dispersion, that you can say, okay, fine, if you want to write something regarding this, you can write something regarding this, that okay, fine, this is this measure of dispersion, measure of method, whatever we have used. But they have said that you don't have to worry about the measurement method. So I think that's fine. So these are two important points which you have to address in this case, right? And then you have to overall comment on this regard. Okay. Now, I just want to, so that's basically how you can address the answer. So there are, out of 50 marks question, there can be some requirement which are challenging, but then you need to relax and see what you can do in this question. So like the results, what do you mean by results? Then you have to focus on this question, and then you can identify what were the result in this question. Now, last but not the least, um, yeah, this is the this is basically the examiner comment. I just want you guys to read this part and this part only, just to tell you what examiner wants you guys to write. This is actually related to the first part. I should have read this earlier. Another area where candidates could strengthen their responses would be explaining and justifying why they feel a measure is or not appropriate metric to represent a particular aim of objective. As I continuously say, you have to go for the why thing, justification. For example, some responses indicate that return on capital employed and dividends are not good measures for shareholder value. Comments like this will gain a little merit, as candidates need to make clear why those matrices are not appropriate. An answer could indicate, sorry, an answer indicates something as return on capital employed is an accounting based measure of performance and is such likely to have low correlation with the shareholder value. Dividends payment do represent payments to shareholder, but shareholder value also includes share price appreciation, and that is not being measured by the sharing. Is a much better response, as it is indicating that why the measure is not accurate, right? And the second part, the report is lacking in external information in key areas, right? So the examiner is saying, in this case, an industry average given, okay, Uh, Now they are saying that, but the point remains nonetheless that candidates should indicate what particular external information would be beneficial. For example, one of Sharon's objective is to grow sales through the charging a premium price. It would be helpful to use to have some indication of the average prices charged by the company rivals compared to the average price charged by the company for a comparable product or comparable products to enable a judgment on premium pricing to be made. So you have to tell the customer, you have to tell the CEO that why you are agreeing with something and why you are disagreeing with something. So just remember this why thing while answering any question of APM paper. All right. So that's basically how we are supposed to do this. And one thing, sorry, I'm just taking some 5 minutes, last 5 minutes. Whenever you start with section A, just remember my words, irrespective of whatever is required. Just a second. Mm, okay, I'm just trying to share it from this. Just a second. Whenever you start with any question, whenever you start with any answer, what you are supposed to do, you are supposed to just try to build this habit. You have to start to from date and subject, right? Introduction, and then copy and paste this thing, right? So this is basically the way how you are going to answer your question. Don't remove these numbers because this marking will give you a basic idea how much you have to write. So I will do this in the next session probably. So that's basically how we are supposed to answer the questions of APM. All right. So that's the end of the first session. I hope you understood what I'm trying to communicate. Next lecture, we will do another question related to performance measurement, but I will try to incorporate a question which includes some other dimensions of the staples. And in the last section, we will do a question related to question number one, section A, but that will not be from performance measurement. That will be from different areas. All right. So any comments from your side? Anything would you guys want me to include it here?
No, it's
Um,
fine. Yeah, thanks.
okay, yeah, you can go ahead, Prince.
Okay.
No, it's
So
fine.
in the
Thanks.
next okay. So in the next session, inshallah, hopefully we will do one more question of section A of performance measurement combined with some other areas. Okay. So and one more thing, I will share a document with you which includes a similar requirement what we did today, performance measurement evaluation. Try to attempt it at your own. I will share it by tomorrow, inshallah, hopefully. Okay. Take care, Ellen. Take care, friends. Hopefully, we will meet again soon. Next session will be not on the coming Sunday, but Sunday after. Like, I mean, next Sunday. I don't know the date,
Okay.
so it will be on 20th July. All right.
Thank you, Zaya. I just need to confirm if you'll be sharing this recording as well.
Yes, I will upload this recording on the first section. Like you will see in the first section, there are four sections of APM. In the first section, where all the
Yes,
recordings are there, at the end
yes.
you will get the live recording for this September 25 attempt. All right.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.